Oh, Davide. Oh, Davide, what are you up to, you bad, bad, bad boy? Bad boy. What is he doing? Davide Frattesi. That's what we're here to talk about. The conundrum of Davide Frattesi at Inter is becoming a problem because unless you've been living under a rock, Interisti, we have been subjected for over a week now to a barrage of news in regards to Davide Frattesi. Davide Frattesi is unhappy. Davide Frattesi wants to leave. Davide Frattesi wants more playing time. Davide Frattesi's relationship with Inzaghi is at an all-time low, as reported by Pasquale Guarro, other outlets. But why is Davide Frattesi unhappy? What is the source of this unhappiness? And is he really unhappy? Because we saw similar news come out last season, but Davide himself at one point came out to rubbish the rumors. He said, I know Mkhitaryan, Barella, these monsters are ahead of me, and I have to learn how to play better with the ball at my feet, improve my overall play. And I know that in accordance with the manager, with Inzaghi. And he came out, and there was I remember this press conference that he did with Italy, and it made me very happy. So when the rumors started again last week, I was thought, oh, why are they doing this again? We know Frattesi knows his role at Inter. He's not the starter, and he isn't really ever going to be the starter until Barella still in his peak and Mkhitaryan plays like he is, and now Zielinski's there as well. But when you put yourselves in the shoes of Frattesi now in the second season of Inter, it starts to make sense. A guy that we paid, 35 million euros for, a very expensive backup at the time, I said. And actually, the scout report I did about Frattesi over probably like 3 years ago now. Actually, it's probably the scout report I'm most proud of. Make sure you check it out if you haven't. I've put the little card that you can click right up there. This was 1 year before we signed Frattesi, where profile Frattesi. And when we signed Frattesi, I said he has improved in some of those aspects, but he's still quite lax in terms of his technical ability, passing, ball retention, all that kind of stuff. But yes, we needed Davide Frattesi in this team. Ball carrying, powerful running, goal threat. And what a goal threat he offered us last season, off the bench most of the time. Some strikers would have been proud of his goals and assist tally last year. Amazing. So I thought this year, and maybe he thought this year, after becoming pretty much a super sub, he would get more minutes. But the thing is, Davide, you have got more minutes. And here is a little comparison that I've made for you guys, just to show you and Davide. Up top, you can see last season. At the bottom, you see, oh, I don't know what happened to the text there. It's kind of like gone to 2 lines. It wasn't like that before. But anyway, you see, last season, he totaled 1,555 minutes. And most of them, only 6 starts in the league. That's what I was supposed to say at the top, but the line went to the other side as well. And he got most of the starts in Champions League, just like he is this season, where he's starting pretty much every Champions League game. Last season, he started all the Champions League group stage games. This season, he's already got 5 starts in the league, and he's already got 942 minutes. So he only needs another 600 minutes, and he's already reached last season's tally. So you can say he's well on course to get past the minutes that he got last season. But that clearly doesn't make him still happy. I would think a guy signed from Sassuolo, never played in Europe, has become the Champions League. He is the Champions League midfielder for Inter, because you saw last 2 seasons he is the Champions League starter. But then again, you put yourself in the shoes of Frattesi. He probably wants to start in the league more. And yes, he has got already 5 stars in the league this year. But that is because, if you remember, a few weeks ago, Barella was injured. He was out for a couple of games. Monza, he started. Udinese, he started. And there was another one he started. I forgot which one. But, a couple of those starts were only due to Barella's injury. So if it wasn't for that, he probably would have been still at probably 3 starts of the season. So you can see, when you put it into context, where his unhappiness comes from. He probably does want to be a starter in the league, not just Champions League. And in the Champions League, we know it's kind of the rotated team. He doesn't, it's not the most fluid Inter performances we've seen in the Champions League this year, it's been kind of like, we've seen them, a lot of these 1-0 wins and things like that. And the funny thing is, Spalletti sees him pretty much as a certain starter for Italy at the moment. It seems like whatever formation he plays, whether it's 3 at the back, 4 at the back, he finds space for Davide Frattesi in there. So he's an Italy starter, but he can't get minutes for Inter. It's a funny conundrum. And he's got to the stage now where it seems like, as I said, the rumors are coming. He's not shutting it down. His agent, Beppe Rizzo, pain in the ass, pain in the culo that we're going to have to deal with the next few years because he's becoming quite powerful within the Inter team with other players in his camp as agent. And, other upcoming talents around Italy, Beppe Rizzo seems like it's going to be, the Pastorello, who was, the guy with a lot of power, Italian agent with a lot of power recently with Inter players. So he's clearly trying to get Frattesi this move in January now. And looks like from what we're hearing, Frattesi is also wanting this. And if it wasn't any more proof needed, his substitute appearance against Milan, guys, Davide Frattesi, what do we know him for? Grinta, passion, hard running. Even if he gets 5 minutes, this guy's going to run his heart out. I put a tweet out showing a quick little clip of Davide Frattesi in the Supercoppa final. It doesn't matter. The referee actually blew the whistle just after that instance. The game was over. But Taremi didn't feel like it was over. Taremi, the ball went out of play. Frattesi actually kicks it to the corner, but then doesn't go to recover it. Taremi's telling him, go get it. But he ignores him, starts to jog back slowly to his position towards the middle of the field. Taremi then who's played the full 90 minutes, Frattesi's fresh. Taremi has to run all the way to the corners to get the ball, get it back, and then there's another ball in the goal that he goes and gets out to make sure that Magnan starts to take the goal kick quickly. Little details, probably seems insignificant, but that's, if Davide Frattesi isn't even offering that grinta, passion, then he's a useless player, and that means also that maybe his mind is elsewhere. Other rumors are coming out today. The teams that are interested in him, so we know Roma are interested in him. He is Roman. He's born and raised in Roma. Apparently, he was a Lazio fan, in his early years, but then he went through the Roma youth system and changed allegiance, which is a bit of a red flag. But yeah, he's supposed to be a Roma fan, and he would love to be at Roma. I think I've always said that when we were in for him, that if one team ever came for him, it would be Roma, and he would love it, and he would be a starter there for sure. And apparently, they are looking, of course, the price that Inter have set is 45 million, no less. I think, if someone comes in for 40, they'll probably be happy. Ghisolfi, who is the Roma sporting director, has been spotted in Milano today to potentially talk about this deal. They want to offer Cristante as part of the deal, as a make weight, probably as a loan, to say, you're losing your fifth, choice midfielder. You want to keep 6 midfielders in the rotation, so we'll give you Cristante as a, just to, you guys don't have to sign someone in January. But no, if you want to give us Cristante, you actually add some money on top, make it 60 million. If you want to add the Cristante in this deal, I do not want to see Brian Cristante at Inter, even if it's a loan. If Brian Cristante plays at Inter, I won't watch Inter. Simple as that. But anyway, that's the stage that we're at. Every little rumor is kind of being hyped up at the moment. But that's where we're at. And then the other team that's interested in him is Napoli, and I'm surprised about this because Davide Frattesi, to me, is a very similar player to Scott McTominay, two kind of limited players technically in the build-up phase, but they come alive in the opposition box. Box crashers. But because Napoli today is also heated up on their end, that Creature Kvaratskhelia could be sold in January, so they'd have a hefty sum of money to invest if that happens. Apparently Conte really likes Frattesi. We know Conte likes athletic midfielders. But again, I don't really see what's the fit unless he's trying to change formation to add in, is he Frattesi going to play, closer to the striker? I don't know. Do we want to sell to a competitor? That's one of the questions. Inter have said, they would prefer not to sell to a direct rival during a title race, but is it necessarily weakening Inter? This is, again, it has been annoying me that we're hearing so much about Frattesi because this is the 5th choice midfielder. This guy is behind, obviously, Barella, Mkhitaryan, but he's also behind probably Zielinski now in the pecking order, and obviously Hakan. So is it really weakening Inter? Not too much. Obviously, we do need a replacement as well. We definitely need, because someone, if Frattesi leaves, that slot has to be filled. And we also know now that probably it has to be someone with slightly different characteristics to Frattesi. I mean, I would always like someone like a Frattesi in this team. I think you can't always have the copies. I think with Inzaghi, it almost seems like he wants a copy of each player in each position. They have to be doing the exact same role, Whereas I think it's nice to have people with different characteristics, like, someone with a bit more powerful running, ball carrying ability, dribbling, goal scoring, compared to the other midfielders, which is why I think we are linked with Nico Paz. The guy that could be 2 birds with 1 stone in this January window, hard to get, but with Frattesi's money, if we're talking about 30, 40 million plus, we all know who it is, Samuele Ricci from Torino. Yes, he's just signed his new contract with Torino, but we know that doesn't mean that he's going to stay at Torino. That's the Bremer type thing of like, I'll help you out because I have an expiring contract, so we get the money. Ricci can cover both as a mezzala because that's primarily the role he plays more with Torino as mezzala or in a pivot, 2 pivot. But we know that long term for Italy, sometimes with Torino, he plays as a regista. That's the position that I think most people see him thriving in. If Inter get the Frattesi money, you can have that 2 birds, 1 stone hit with Samuele Ricci, who can cover for mezzala for the time being. And then long term, in the next few years, with Hakan's, slight doubts that we're starting to have with his injury issues now, could Ricci be the answer long term for Hakan? So that is the situation of this Davide Frattesi problem. You guys let me know in the comments down below, what would you do with this Davide Frattesi situation? I'm not losing sleep if we're not selling Frattesi. I would rather not sell Frattesi in January. I'll be honest. I'd rather keep the squad as it is to keep his goal threat off the bench as well. It's last season, like, how many points did we win with his late goals? Of course, you can't guarantee that. It's not like you put Frattesi on and he's going to score goals. But it's a nice addition, nice bonus to have off the bench for sure. But an unhappy player is always worth getting rid of if they're not committed to the cause. And that's definitely a Marotta way of dealing with transfers we've seen at Juve and Inter. So you guys let me know how you would deal with this. Frattesi, sell him now or wait till the summer. Who would you sign as a Frattesi replacement? Is the favorite at the moment Nico Paz? Does he move you? I'm trying to do my research on him. I am starting to get more and more convinced by him. Would you go for Samuele Ricci or is there someone else? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's see what happens in the coming days. Let's see, maybe even starts against Venezia in the weekend. You never know. Let's see what Inzaghi does with all this situation. If he's asked about it in the next press conference, it would be interesting. Anyway, leave a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Ciao ragazzi. Frattesi or not, always, Forza Inter.